Okay, so starting out as Japan, we are going to quickly come over here to our budget by simply clicking F2 or just coming over here to the budget icon on the left side of your screen. And what we're going to do is we're going to quickly max out the taxation levels, and then we're going to max out the military wages and our government wages just for now. Now, for consumption taxes, we're just going to do services, liquor, tobacco, and luxury clothes. Now, just by clicking Alt-2 or coming over here to our decrees by simply clicking the political lens button, we're going to go ahead and promote social mobility throughout the entire country of Japan. Now, the reason why we want to do this is because we want to slingshot our literacy rate as high as possible. Now, as you can see here, Japan has the highest literacy rate by far in the entirety of Asia. When we look at Qing, they start off with a 15.3 literacy rate. The British East India Company starts off with 19.7, and while everywhere else starts with underneath basically 20%, except for the Philippines, with Philippines basically being the second highest. So when we come over here to our politics, we can see here that our shogunate and samurai start off with the traditionalist ideologies. Now, sadly enough, we can't really exile these guys as they do share the same ideology with the shogunate. Basically, if they do share the same ideology as the shogunate, simply do this, exit game and exit the main menu, and basically just quickly restart. Okay, on my second reroll, I, well, didn't really get so lucky, sadly. Oh my god, third reroll? This is a first. Okay, so we did get lucky in this time around. We even got shogunate with the Jingoi trait, which is absolutely perfect. Now, if your shogunate does start off with the Jingois, you basically got the perfect run. So yeah, this is basically the best start that you could probably get as Japan. Now, if you really wanted to, so I'm just going to quickly just move the days along here really quickly. Now, what we can do, if you want to play as Japan and you want to enact cultural exclusion straight away, what you can do is just quickly chuck the shogunate out and quickly exile this dissident, and then we got ourselves a traditionalist. Okay, well, that's probably not the best. Obviously, I can't roll him in this run, so what you would do is if you come over here to our military and we come to Hidetsu Igawa, this guy is a reformer. Now, you can easily get him in your government. Basically, you just want to exile the current leader of the shogunate, and you should be able to get this guy into power, basically going your politics and just going for cultural exclusion. Okay, so I had to do a little quick reroll. Now, I got this good old pacifist guy. If I quickly exile him, as you can see here, we now have this reformer guy. So with this reformer guy, we're just going to quickly chuck the shogunate back into government with our laws, and then we could obviously easily pass cultural exclusion. Now, you can go ahead and do that, but that's not really the purpose of I want to show in today's video the strongest and the best possible Japan you can play as. Now, this is one of many ways that you can start out as Japan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to re-roll again until, well, I can get either a Jingoi start, or we'll bring in a Jingois either from the samurai or into the shogunate. Okay, so one successful roll later, and we got the Jingois, guys. So we're now going to come over here to laws, and then we're just going to go straight away and pass professional army, which has a 74% chance to pass. Now, the reason why we want to pass professional army straight away is because if we take a look here at peasant levies, it's not really good considering the fact that we lose negative 25% weekly unit experience for our armies and navies, which is just absolutely terrible. While professional army, we gain 25% weekly unit experience. So yeah, having peasant levies really isn't the best start for us. Now, we're going to obviously move it up to 5 speed. All right, now we're going to come back over here to our budget screen, and we're just going to go right ahead and lower our government budget all the way down. Now, you should have up to 117 authority to spare. Now, what you can do with this, if we come back over here, you can use your road maintenance to put it anywhere. Now, we're going to go ahead and put this in Tohoku. The reason why we want to put it in Tohoku, the road maintenance modifier will give us plus 10% state construction efficiency, which will help us build these construction sectors much faster, which I still have to put down again. So we're going to go ahead and put 15 construction sectors down in Tohoku. And now for interest over here in our diplomatic lands, we're going to go ahead, declare an interest in Grand Colombia, and then we're just going to chuck run on Indonesia. Now, the reason why we want to go ahead and do it in Grand Colombia is because when we want to go to war on Britain, so we'll go ahead and conquer Guyana, dude, I actually cannot pronounce this. It's Guyana, right? So yeah, basically, when we build up all these construction sectors, we're now going to go right ahead, max out the logging camps, and then we're going to want to build build 2 tooling workshops, preferably build them everywhere. Now, basically, what we're going to want to do is we're going to rinse and repeat with wood buildings, tool workshops, iron mines, and coal mines. Those 4 are going to be the real staple for our economic growth. So I'm going to go right ahead, build about 3 iron mines in Tohoku, and then we're going to build 5 coal mines in Kyushu as well. And then come over here to our urban. We're just going to go ahead and quickly switch our urban center over to market squares and keeping them on state-run churches. Now, the reason why is because we want to keep our country run by the clergymen, and I'll give you guys a reason why. So if we come over here to our journal entry and we come over here to the decisions, we have the adopt state Shinto decisions entry, which will change the Buddhist monks into a Shinto state religion, which is Japan's traditional religion. Now, as you can see here, the Buddhist monks will lose the Buddhist moralists trait, and they will grab Shinto piousness. Basically, yeah, it's an authority-based game. So, you know, these guys will endorse ethno-state and national supremacy, and will also be granted the Haibutsu Kishaku, which gives us a plus negative 20% radicals from discrimination. So basically, do not have the Buddhist monks angry at you, basically. And then we gain the Secular Shrine Theory, which gives us a plus 20% conversion. And then we gave Heavenly Sovereign, which will grant us plus 15% authority. And then not only that, we'll have a plus 20% chance for all of these people down here to follow the Shinto religion slowly. So basically, the best Japan is a theocratic Japan with the adopted state Shinto, not only because of the high authority, but because it is just a bit, the bus it gives is absolutely mwah mwah. Now, Heather, you really don't have to do this as well. Whether we take a look at the current Buddhist monks, you can take a look here. Their ideologies are pious, which, you know, not too bad, but you can take a look at the traits we have. Ascetism, which is a negative 50% radicals from standard of living decrease, which is pretty good in its own right. And then we have divine right, which is a plus 10% in authority. But basically, Shinto religion is much better, humbly, in my opinion. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, build up these construction sectors, and switch them quickly over to iron frame buildings. Okay, one thing that you also need to do is start colonizing the beautiful island of Sakhalin. Now, I may stop halfway through. I noticed that it does stop because I'm not a recognized power. I don't know if that is the case. It's a little bit weird with how it works. But if it just stops halfway through, you will start to colonize it again once you become a recognized power. And one thing that you guys also want to do is here, if you come over here to ports, you kind of want to switch over to Anchorage, which will give us a little bit more revenue, because if we switch over here to cargo ports, you can see here we get 589 and then 616. Now, it's because we do have a closed economy with isolationism, so switching that on over won't really affect anything with the convoys, simply because we're not really exporting or importing anything at the moment. Now, we're about 12 to 18 months away from grabbing line infantry. Now, what we want to do here is we're going to go ahead and build military shipyards in Kansai, and then we're just going to want to build 2 arms industries in Kanto and 1 in Kansai. And then we're going to go right ahead, switch this logging camp over to sawmills, which is going to be great. And then switching this tooling workshop over to wrought iron tools, which is going to get people working in the iron mines to get them in the tooling workshop. Basically, these 3 just rinse and repeat with one another. It's great once you get it, the idea in your head. Now, what I'm going to do here is we're going to start building up our arms industry, military shipyards, and our gun industry. Now, obviously, the reason why we want to build up our military shipyards is because we do want to build ourselves a navy, which we do have one here with Kuronusuke Yamawa. This guy. So basically, I only got this event simply because I had from the Heart of the Sea event. So basically, what you want to do here is you want to go ahead, create a fleet, click on Japan, and then you will have ourselves a second Japanese fleet. But since we got this guy, might as well keep him. But I'm going to go ahead and recruit this guy simply because he's an engineer. Sorry, I mean this guy, Kuronusuke Omura, who is a dockyard organizer, which is going to reduce the supply consumption, and he also has aggressive interception as well. And then what we're going to do here is we would build them all here, but simply when you have this orange thing, you can't build them simply because we do not produce any man-o'-wars, which is what this military shipbuilding here will produce for us. Okay, one thing that I had completely forgotten to mention, which is completely my fault, is the unrealized taxes here in Japan. Now, as you can see here, we have about average uncollected taxes negative 30%, and the average tax waste is 5%. Now, in order to fix this, we're going to need to build government administration buildings. Now, we don't want to outright fix this straight away because the government administration buildings alone, they also cost money for us to have them here. So what we're going to do here is we're going to be focusing on, some of the lower parts. So I say we build about 3 in Shigoku and 2 in Shikoku, basically, and we're going to slowly, as we progress throughout the campaign, we're going to slowly fix this taxation as best as we can. And then basically, the more we fix it, the more money that we'll get back, because we are now collecting these taxes more efficiently. So kind of just mix them around when you come over here into your construction queue. Kind of just like move them around, you know, a bit of a mix and match, you know what I mean? And just you know, add them here and there, and you'll start to notice that you'll gain money much more efficiently, etc, etc. But basically, we have built up our beautiful military shipbuildings, which is great. However, they are not profitable simply because we aren't producing anything, or we're not consuming them as well. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go right ahead and build one naval base in every state possible. Now, the reason why you want to do this is because if we were to build just 5 in Kyushu, it will take time for us to recruit these people, simply because we do not have power of the purse, which is, we come over here to our technology, and that's down here. So just by effectively building one in every state, we should have around 7 people in our navy, which will help us out a lot. So we're just going to go ahead and move these bad boys all the way up front and get them built as soon as possible, because we do have about 13 weeks left for our line infantry. And there we go. We now have line infantry unlocked. We're now, since we should have our arms industries built, which I do have here in Kento. Now, I don't really have an iron mine, so producing these is going to be a little bit annoying, but nothing should be bad. We're just going to come over here now to our military. And then as you can see here, we're now going to go right ahead and upgrade all of our infantry to line infantry. And next thing for research is obviously going to be empiricism and romanticism. Now, obviously, by doing this, it's going to start consuming our guns, which is going to be more profitable, and our GDP is going to start growing even more, which is very, very nice. Now, if we take a look here again at our line infantry, they are now level 2. Now, as we can see here, now, if you guys actually want to see me do a full breakdown on how the military and warfare works in Victoria 3, I'd be so glad to do that. Just leave a like and comment whether you guys want to actually see that video. But when we take a look here at our unit veterancy level, we can see here now that they're level 2, they now get plus 5 offense and plus 5 defense, which is triggered due to the our base value being 1, but also from the plus 25% that we gain from the professional army, meaning our units are now slowly gaining experience, which stacks on the already base value of the line infantry, which is plus 25% defense and plus 20 offense, making it plus 25 offense and plus 30 defense. So now what we're going to do here is we're going to come over here to good old Britain, and we're going to go for a conquer state play on Guyana. And what we're going to do here is we're now going to go right ahead and do a force recognition play on good old Britain. And that's basically all we are going to do. I mean, we could also grab war reparations as well, which we might as well do, and just kind of leave those 3 for now. Now, coming back over here to our infantry. Now, obviously, if we were going to send 102 of our divisions on over to Britain, over to conquer Guyana, we're basically leaving ourselves open for a free naval invasion. So now what we're going to do here is we're going to quickly come over here to transfer our military over. We're going to move one of our generals, and then we're going to move our line infantry. I say about 10 of them, switch them on over like this, and then we're going to click confirm, and now we have 2 different infantry. Now, basically, you want to mobilize the 92 guys, and they should be able to defend we should be able to defend ourselves from Britain very easily, simply because Britain doesn't really have a big enough fleet to defeat our 92 divisions. And if they were to send, you know, maybe a 47 and then a 54 for skirmish infantry, they're going to get a bit of a naval debuff, simply because their navy doesn't meet the size of their military. Again, I'll go over this in a military and warfare in a different tutorial. That's if you guys want to see that. So we're going to send these 10 divisions, and we're just going to go for a straight naval invasion on British Guyana. Now, the best thing here is Britain is just, yeah, they're just going to leave this place open for invasion. No one's going to defend it, which is great. As you can see here, they are sending over quite a lot of fleet, and well, ours is going on over. So yeah, we can see here they are going for 19 divisions and 47 on their fleet, which isn't really going to be enough to stop us. So thank gosh. All right, now that we got British Guyana, their war exhaustion is slowly going to tick down as we take a look here. Yeah, it will slowly tick down to the red, meaning as long as that happens, we don't really need British Guyana. I mean, if you want to grab Guyana, go right ahead. I mean, it does have gold mines, which is really good. But as you can see here, we managed to defend ourselves pretty easily from a naval invasion, and we are losing quite a little bit for revenue. So I'm just going to leave it as is for now. Now, as you can see here, they are now negative 0.7. Now, we're going to grab British war reps, and British war reparations. Now, basically, you guys can grab British Guyana, which if you really do want to, and I mean, it does give you a stepping stone in South America, if that's the way how you want to roll. But for the sake of my playthrough for today, I'm just going to grab British war reparations and recognition from Britain, because I will use Guyana as another way to tick down their war exhaustion later on. So if we come over here to the Terracoya system, you can see here that if we do complete this, we get the integrating Terracoya for 9 years, which gives us plus 25 education access and plus 15% technology research speed. Now, this is where Japan absolutely shines as a nation, because this plus 15% technology research speed, if we max out our innovation, stuff is going to get real quick, and we'll be able to research things really quickly. Not only catching up to global powers, but basically soaring right beyond them, which is absolutely beautiful. I'm currently building about 5 construction sectors in Kanto, and what I'm now going to start doing is I'm going to start building about 5 universities in Tohoku, Kanto, and Chubu, and basically I'm going to keep building them until we max out our innovation, which is why we want to go for empiricism and then going down to dialectics, which if we were to research now, it will take us 10 years, which isn't really worth it, considering the fact that we still have land-based taxation, isolationism, traditionalism, and we still have serfdom as well. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to chuck the Buddhist monks in the shogunate in. Now, we could try and pass theocracy, but we want to now get rid of serfdom, so then we can end up passing religious schools, which we can't do simply because of serfdom. Now, lucky for us, we do have the enact homesteading decision. Now, if you don't really have that, try chucking in the rule, or the Haimin, or the intelligentsia, or whoever who wants to pass this land reform. Basically, we're going to do this, and now this is going to trigger a civil war, which is exactly what we want to happen. Now, we're going to integrate these guys back in, and it's going to cause a little bit of a hot mess. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to start deleting our military here in Japan. So basically, we are going to now delete everyone who isn't in our capital state, which should leave us around 15 infantry divisions. So taking a look here, we got some here in Hokkaido. Just delete this. Now, you're just going to slowly get rid of it, just like this. Boop, boop, boop. So basically, just kind of going through your infantry divisions to see where they are all at. Don't worry, we can just build these guys back up later on. Not only that, it does free up some revenue space, and we do have the infantry left in Kyushu. So we're kind of now just left with 19. Would be 20, but I accidentally got rid of one. And now the reason why we want to do that is because now that none of these states have any battalions, when they do revolt, we will have a military and they won't. So basically the majority, which if we wait for the revolution to trigger, we can see here with the shogunate and the samurai, we can take a look here. Every state in Japan is revolutionary against us, except for Hokkaido and our capital. So maybe you don't have to delete it in Hokkaido. I mean, I haven't really tested it out myself, but yeah, pretty good so far. So basically, we're just going to go ahead, use this to our advantage, and the reason why we want to do this is because we have the Honorable Restoration Journal entry, which we want to complete, because we can complete this straight away by basically not having the shogunate in government for up to 10 years when they are not powerful, or simply when we defeat them in a revolution, which we can do very easily and very quickly. But as you guys can see here, the revolutionaries have no battalions whatsoever, which is great. Now, I'll just quickly do a side-by-side comparison with the military if you don't delete them, and with this when you do delete them, just so you guys get a really good picture on what to do when doing this. Basically, I did do this in a beautiful speedrun attempt, and we now have homesteading, which is fantastic. And obviously, looking at our politics, we can move over to religious schools, which is something we will do basically once everyone is, well, all sorted out. And there we go. We have now completed the Honorable Restoration by 1842, which is everything we basically need. And we now have Ninko as our new shogun, which isn't really gonna last for long. I mean, he isn't really the greatest guy. I mean, his son is a protectionist, which is great. He wants to pass protectionism and mercantilism in interventionism, which is exactly what we're really going to need. Now, it's up to you whether you want to be focused with the industrialists or the intelligentsia. Now, personally for me, I always want to grab the industrialists simply because of the production methods. Now, we want to do industrial simply because of our heir. Now, what we do want to do is we kind of want to, we can't really do anything for the next 7 years until he grows up, which is something that we are definitely actually going to try and figure out, because now we not only need to focus on the Terrakoya system, but we now need to focus on the Ninko system, which we would need to complete these 3 journal entries here in Japan, being these 3 restorations by ending the Sakoku period, by basically getting rid of isolationism, closed borders, and traditionalism, retiring the samurai by having Napoleonic warfare, which you should have had spreaded out to you by now, which has happened to me. But if you haven't do that, make sure you go ahead and put that into your research queue by just simply holding down shift left click, which I just did here with the army reserves. But for me, after I research Lace, I'm coming over here to the atmospheric engine, which is basically what I do want to grab because of coal iron production methods. But coming back here to our journal entry now, industrializing Japan would probably be the last one you complete. Now we basically need to have one railway in each state and having an urban center of level 5, which you simply get by building buildings, as you can see here with the logging camps. If I was to build one logging camp here in Chugoku, you can see here the urbanization per level of this building is +5. Now you always want to have it equal to 100. Every time it equals 100, the urban size simply goes up. Now obviously you don't want to do that too much. As you can see here, one industrial building like Glassworks is +20 simply by maxing these all out to level 5. I mean, if you start building all around anyway, you'll have it up to level 5 anyway, which is exactly what we're going to do. I mean, over here I'm going to have these guys focusing on hardwood production and kind of just doing whatever we need to. And then obviously for decrees, we're going to put down our promoting social mobility all over the place once again, just leaving us with 37.5% authority. And then for laws, we're now going to go straight ahead and grabbing religious skills, which is going to help us with the Terrakoya system. Now, if you do get any events like the Yokohama incident, basically just fight back. I mean, don't really give in, because that negative 20 prestige and legitimacy can hurt, especially for the period. It's for 9 years. You definitely don't want to do that. And obviously the devastation is only temporary. As you can see here, it climbs down really quickly. As you can see here, the daily change here for me is negative 10%. But basically don't damage your prestige and don't damage your legitimacy, because if you do that, it may be low enough to not have anyone in government to pass laws, etc. Now, with which way the wind blows, again, it's completely up to you what decision you want. Now, basically, I would kind of leave this behind, getting a positive relationship with with Britain, Russia. But you could also do your future is uncertain. But we're going to do the top one simply because we're going to ally with them, because later on we will be going to fight the Qing. Now, having Britain on our side simply because they also have Tibet is really good for us, because you know, maybe later on Qing may have line infantry and they may be a little bit of a pain to deal with. As you can see here, Russia is domineering, and well, Britain is protective of us, which we're going to start improving relations with both of them, because having a great future alliance with either of them. And we now have religious skills. Now, we had about 300 bureaucracy, and now we got 111. Now, the goal here is now to build up bureaucracy, kind of fix our unrealized taxes slowly, and try to get level 3 education access, which we will get with having dialectics so easily by doing that, just by building 5 universities in Tohoku, Kento, and Chubu. Okay, so once again, we're going to chuck in the Buddhist monks and the landowners, and with this, we can actually now move out of this. Now, we want to go right ahead and pass interventionism, which is probably my favorite law to pass, simply because I can subsidize all my buildings. I used to be a big laissez-faire guy, but I was like, you know what, I don't know. Okay, so we can now come over here to our journal entry and now adapt the state Shinto. So basically, we can now do this because we do not have monarchy anymore, and we have completed the honorable restoration journal entry. So we're going to go right ahead, activate this, and that is now basically going to give us more authority, meaning we can go right ahead and put more road maintenance up here in Tohoku, or we can encourage resource industry, wherever you really want to basically put it. But I want to put it up here because, again, I'm going to put in road maintenance so that we can actually increase our urban center size much more quicker, and we now have a decent amount of bureaucracy. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and move the education as best as we can, basically increasing the education access and increasing our literacy rate. And there we go. We have now completed the establish a university, which is great. Now, we could come down here and grab medical degrees, which isn't something we really want to grab. We're just going to go ahead and increase the throughput building for our universities, which is going to be absolutely perfect, because that higher throughput bonus is going to help us with innovation. As you can see here, it's plus 10 at the moment with the innovation. We come here, we now have 60 innovation over here, so that should be pretty good. As you can see here, even, oh wow, the Ottoman Empire. Well, obviously we're just gonna fight back. Now Chubu gets some devastation. Oh boy. And there we go. We now have interventionism, and we are now having much better revenue of 18.6. So I think now we can easily switch over now on to iron frame buildings, which is great. And we're no longer receiving the diplomatic pact from Britain as well. And now we're going to move on from isolationism to protectionism, simply because it has no one backing against the law. I mean, protectionism, mercantilism, it really doesn't matter for me, which isn't all that much. And then hopefully we can now move on over to per capita taxation eventually. So this should hopefully all work out. But we take a look, our innovation at the moment is 88. Now, I could go ahead, build more universities, but our dialectics is done in 3 years. Okay, so again, taking a look at our weekly innovation, at the moment, it's currently 79. Now, if you're probably wondering, why is it, well, 79? Well, that's the thing. It's not the best because we don't really have any technology spread, and we're also getting negative 10% from the Terracoya system, which is why we need to complete this as best as we can, because we are suffering from this negative 10%, which is absolutely nuts. So that's why we were, you see here, it's 88, but over here, it's negative 79. Having to go through these three, they just change it with the innovation, but you know, it is what it is. Now, also after dialectics, make sure you go to researching the railways. Okay, so after some time has passed, we now have unlocked dialectics, which we can now get up to level 3 in our education system. And what we're going to do now is come over here to our development and switch on over our universities to the philosophy department, which is going to increase our innovation plus 45 in total, turning up to 108, making us research stuff a lot quicker with the philosophy department. We now get a plus 25% in university building throughput bonus. And the best thing is, at the current moment, we are still getting the effects of philosophy the Kings and synthesis, meaning our universities are now getting a plus 50% in throughput alone, which is great. Again, if we come over here, take a look at the university, we're now getting plus 54%. So again, doing this is very much so perfect. Okay, so I have finally unlocked railways. And what I'm going to do here is come over to the railways, and we're just going to go ahead and build one railway in all of our states, basically. And there we go. We have now completed the Terracoya system. If we come over here to our technology, we are now getting 124 research speed, which is plus 15% from obviously integrating Terracoya. Now, we do need to max out our innovation up to 162, which is something that we should probably get going. Okay, so now that we're reaching Central Archives, now we want to go ahead and research the General Staff, and Percussion Cap. Now, the reason why we want to research these two is simply because we do need the general training. Now, in order for us to go ahead and complete to retire the samurai, we're going to want to obviously have no organized training deactivated. So taking a look at our literacy now, we are now 70.67%, being the smartest country in the entire world. Now, obviously, we're going to try and cap this out at 100% and try to max out our innovation as possible. I mean, we are still not even there. Our max innovation at the moment can be 166, and we definitely want to go right ahead and meet that potential in order to do that. So basically, the reason why you want to do this is because you want to play as tall as Japan. You don't want to do any expansion just of yet, simply because of the restoration methods, and we finally have a gold rush. And there we go. We now have general stuff. We come over here to development and do general training, and there we go, the fall of the samurai. Now, with this being done, we can basically do this, which will decrease our military research speed, and obviously they will lose the Bakufu journal entry, which is great because I mean these guys support serfdom, and which is, you know, very annoying. But obviously I'm just going to want to do this. I really don't want any more radicals because obviously we are already suffering from a massive radical problem. Basically, with that done, we're super close as well now with almost industrializing Japan. Everything is kind of either just a level down or just straight up nowhere near. Okie dokie. So it seems like I'm going to be in the midst of my own civil war once again, and I am not doing too well on, you know, bureaucracy. So everything at the moment, yeah, not really too good. And well, there we go. We have ended the Sakoku period for Japan, which is great. And ourselves for industrializing Japan, we are basically very close to reaching that 70% mark and basically ending everything up from there. I mean, this is going to be so fun. Oh, and there we go. We have now completed the honorable restoration, a renewed Japan. Japan. Now, basically what we can do here is we can now get claims on the entirety of Korea. We can obviously get, a bunch of improved relations, railways throughput, but obviously the Empire of Japan shall rise, basically now giving us massive claims over here, which I've now got to declare my interest on in Manchuria. But I mean, basically from here on out, playing as Japan is really good. I mean, you basically just want to focus on the research. As you can see here, 160 to 241 with all the technology spread and obviously the production research and from our integrating Terracoya. But basically, that's how you guys start out as Japan. I mean, we're only in 1865. We still have the entire game to go on from here. But once again, everybody, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.